When I go to the Trump rallies, there's just a plethora of old people hypocrisy. So to hear that suddenly college kids think Charlie Kirk is cool is a question. Is there a true conservative ideology embedded in these 18-year-olds, or is it just for clicks? And I thought they would be cynical and potentially cruel. And when I realized the cruelty is something you learn, it's something that's embedded by these older folks who are manipulating that space. And Charlie Kirk comes on campus, and he's famous. They've seen him online. He gets clicks, and he shows up, and it's a thing. He throws out a bunch of hats, and you're like, it's not that you don't have conservative leanings, but I see you right now, and I see you creating an identity for yourself based around a free hat, based around somebody who gets attention, which for an 18-year-old, attention is the king of all kings, and there's nobody in a liberal space who's speaking to you, and so I see you starting to graft onto that persona. But what I don't see is a cruelty or a meanness that old me was projecting onto you. I see an openness.
That is The Daily Show's Jordan Klepper, who sat in on Kara Swisher's podcast to discuss.
Who are you? Get out of here, IRI, motherfucker. No. Comedian destroys. Can I ban this shit? Not recommend this channel. Fuck you. One of the IRI. There's
So, Manish, the Senate will be in session actually this weekend as lawmakers try to come up with some sort of agreement to end this shutdown once and for all. Just bring us up to speed. Where do things stand?
Well, as this shutdown drags on, it's just still not clear what will actually break the gridlock here in Washington. Yesterday, Democrats made a new pitch saying they will vote to reopen the government if Republicans agree to a one-year extension to the expiring Affordable Care Act subsidies. That would keep health care premiums from rising. But Senate Majority Leader John Thune called that proposal a non-starter and said he expects senators will stay in Washington throughout the weekend to keep negotiating. That came as President Trump posted online that senators should not leave Washington until they have a deal. But shortly after, on Friday evening, President Trump left town to stay at his Florida resort club for the weekend. Laura?
Michelle Cinder starting us off at the White House. Thank you, Amish.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just
still alive. There you go. So, paying 4 people, no SNAP.
For SNAP benefits. Yesterday, the U.S. Supreme Court granted an appeal to the Trump administration. It temporarily blocks a lower court order that originally urged the White House to fully fund SNAP payments amid the government shutdown. That previous order had given the administration until yesterday to make those full SNAP payments.
Really, what they're trying to do is they're trying to get people so mad that they'll fucking do something.
Making it continue with
they're hedging their bets on what side will do it. Will it be the 4 people or will it be the MAGA fucking people? Also.
Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani set to lead New York City on the 1st of January.
An actual communist jihadist, a literal Karl Marx quoting American-hating jihadist.
Attention, New Yorkers. The next stop on this train will be communist Afghanistan. What can New Yorkers expect from Mayor Khalid Sheikh Mao Hamid? Well, I've been watching Fox News for 1,848 hours straight, and I'm ready to Fox-plain Zorhan Miami. New York City has had some incredible mayors in the past, like Rudy Giuliani, and that's it, end of list. But this new mayor, Zoltar Mamdani, is every enemy of America rolled into one.
He is a socialist.
I refuse to call him socialist. He's really a communist.
He's not only a
communist, socialist.
He's a jihadist. As a terrorist.
Shamdani is every bad word that ends in socialist, communist, jihadist, terrorist, Sierra Mist, and worst of all,
Yeah,
he's a lyricist. That was awful. He's certainly not as good as any of the rappers I enjoy, like Macklemore, and that's it. End of list. And look, I don't want to bring up 9/11, but the Democrats have.
Oh, I'm sorry, but he's no,
from 9/11. If you would have told me
he's no guru in my opinion. So sorry.
9/11 that somebody
Want me to go down the list? I'll go down the list for you.
would win this dramatically.
That list will not include
24
Eminem.
years after 9/11. 23 years after the first anniversary of 9/11. 17 years after the theatrical release of You Don't Mess with the Zohan. You're messing with the Zoran? And look, I don't mean to trivialize that horrible day, but
Funny, but not on this level. What else happens here? Sam August 3rd, live on stage. After about. I want to watch this. AI Kofi. I'm gonna say. Another lip slap server.
Oh, it wasn't even 2 weeks ago when Steve Bannon, the most arrogant man in the United States, was out there telling us that Donald Trump is absolutely going to get a third term.
Man, they're
He's
so
the greatest
mad.
president we've ever had. Everybody loves him. He's going to serve a third term. And then this week, that arrogance turned into tears for poor little Steve Bannon.
Yeah. Another. I'm being served a lot of limp shit now. I'll go back.
Oh, it wasn't even 2 weeks.
Yeah, now it's gone. Yeah. Don't recommend channel. What was that called?
Oh, it wasn't even 2 weeks
Moron
ago when Steve
Balance.
Bannon, the
I don't know
most
what the fuck
arrogant
that
man in
is.
the United States,
No,
was
fuck
out
you.
there telling us that Donald Trump.
Fair and balanced. Fair on that unit. Fair on balance. Far and balance. Well, I can't fucking you're not on here, so now you're gone. Oh, there you go. Yeah, bye-bye. Not recommend. Bye. Lip slap shit. If there's nothing more that I hate, it's lip slap. Yeah, this guy too. I'm done with this channel. Another one. Alright, let's watch this other
You're seeing
one.
this MAGA civil war getting worse and worse.
Oh, MAGA, worse, but it's still there.
Fighting. Well, some on the right, they've tried to dismiss
No.
this as some sort of sideshow.
Like, wow.
This is so much bigger and more important. And they'll admit, and I mean, there is a very real fight over the future of MAGA and the right in general. Where they can try and act like this is some small little blip, the loud minority, but the numbers show that's a lie. And while this has been brewing for a while, and you can go back to my Monday and Tuesday shows for a deeper recap, the quick
Nothing's
version
gonna
is that
happen.
recently
You know what I
things
mean?
kicked
Like,
off because Tucker Carlson interviewed white nationalist Nick Fuentes on his show last week. And among a decent chunk of the right, that sparked some backlash because Tucker is seen, even though he's not with Fox News anymore, as kind of this institution. He has a huge platform. In the interview, it was friendly, and Fuentes, among other things, talked at length about what he called organized Jewry. And so a whole bunch of conservatives, most prominently Ben Shapiro, Mark Levin, and Ted Cruz,
damn, really?
condemned Tucker and Fuentes. But then you had a lot on the right coming to their defense, or at the very least, Tucker's defense, arguing that he was merely exercising his free speech and shouldn't be canceled. And well, now the latest high-profile pundit to make that argument is Brett Cooper, and very notably, Brett is a former Daily Wire host who was once dubbed the female Ben Shapiro before she left and started her own show.
They're doing all of this. They're freaking out because of
Oh,
how
that's really? I didn't
popular
know that.
and impactful Tucker is. Tucker, right now, is the #1 podcaster in
Oh,
the
that's
world.
why
He's
she- oh, yeah,
neck
she
and
did.
neck
I was
with
there.
Joe
I did
Rogan
not know
as they
that.
ignore the obvious shift in the
I thought she was
ideology
still
and
with them.
attitudes of their base. Because you're so angry that the conservative base's attitudes are rapidly changing, that Nick Fuentes is getting national attention. And unfortunately for you guys, yes, the attitudes are changing. So again, it makes sense.
Right over the course of her show, she took shots at several people, including Mark Levin.
Hitler admirers, Stalin admirers, Jew haters, American haters, Churchill haters. You're damn right we're going to
Churchill haters.
platform them.
Also, Republican Senator Lindsey Graham.
Churchill haters.
Run for office as a Republican, and you embrace this, we're going to beat your brains out.
As well as Republican Representative Randy Fine.
Tucker Carlson is the most dangerous anti-Semite in America. He has chosen to take on the mantle of leader of a modern-day Hitler Youth.
You with Cooper going after all of them for pretty much the same reason. Hypocrisy.
This is just so incredibly hypocritical.
No, they're
haven't
going
we
after
all
him because, like, they
collectively
don't-
sat on our shows, sat on X, and
Bad
talked about
look
how
for them.
dangerous it
That's
is
why
and how
they're going after
irresponsible it was for leftists to just call anybody they hate a Nazi. It is the same kind of inflammatory rhetoric that killed Charlie Kirk.
And then with all this, a comment that you made that probably got some of the most attention was a comment about Randy Fine, who's Jewish.
I mean, he obviously,
Oh,
I'm sorry
somebody
to
with
say,
a gun
but he obviously cares
fucking
more
killed
about Israel
Charlie
than he
Kirk.
does,
Dipshit.
principles like free speech. So, buddy, like, my advice to you, Randy Fine, is just move to Israel at this point.
And that seeming to echo something that Fuentes said to Carlson last week.
If you're China first, you should live in China. If you're Mexico first, you should live in Mexico. If you're Israel first, maybe you should go live in Israel.
Right, it also appeared that Fuentes himself took her comments the same way because he posted on X. Daily Wire alum Brett Cooper says Randy Fine should move back to Israel because he cares more about Israel than free speech. We are never going back to the way things used to be. Enough is enough. America first. But then we also heard a much different take on the fighting from Daily Wire host Matt Walsh, who blamed the Republicans' embarrassing defeat on Tuesday's elections on exactly this kind of infighting.
We've watched the right-wing commentariat rip each other to shreds over offensive group chats and podcast guests and so on. Right now, a lot of people are kind of drawing
They're more
lines
concerned
on the
with how
right.
they
So here's the
look
line that we
overall
really need.
than
Conservatives who have
whether
actually
or not
shown an
those
ability to
people are
win
claiming
and
to be
move the needle culturally
partial
and politically
things on the
on one
internet.
side versus conservatives who have never contributed meaningfully to any victory at all. And after last night's elections, it's clear that we should just not listen to those people ever again. In my view, the right must unite against the people who want us dead.
Though then you had Fuentes responding to him saying your fence sitting has grown tiresome, with him then going on to post about what he called lunatic Israel first Jews and ethno-narcissistic
Oh my
bullies.
God.
And despite calls for Walsh and a few others for unity, that really doesn't seem to be what's happening. At least not at the Heritage Foundation, because one of the biggest things that catalyzed this civil war was a video statement that its president Kevin Roberts put out last week.
We will always defend truth. We will always defend America, and we will always defend our friends against the slander of bad actors who serve someone else's agenda. That includes Tucker Carlson.
Right in that, it shocked a number on the right to see the head of mainstream American conservatism's most prestigious think tank throwing its support behind Carlson here. And then actually,
not
on
going to end
Monday
MAGA,
night, Roberts
though,
partly
by any
apologized
means.
during a speech at
So
Hillsdale
let
College.
1,000 prisoners defeat rape
I posted a video.
and rape prisoners?
truly
Where
with the
are
best of
they?
intentions. But I have to tell you, to the students, that this old history professor
Oh, is it in the
made a
water?
mistake. And my mistake was not saying we aren't going to participate in cancel culture. We're not. My mistake was letting that, which we will never backtrack from, override the central motivation that I had in doing that. There's one of those ideas that really worries me. It's an idea that has become cachet, not just on the left, but on the far fringes of the right. And that's anti-Semitism.
Then Roberts also apologizing again personally to his own staff yesterday, reportedly saying, I made a mistake and I let you down and I let down this institution, period, full stop. And adding that he was willing to resign, but saying that he felt a moral obligation to clean up the mess he created himself. Though none of that appears to have been enough to prevent this rip from tearing part of the organization apart. Because you have the Washington Post reporting that at least 5 members of its anti-Semitism task force have now resigned in protest. Distinguished fellow Chris DeMuth has left, and there was another fellow, Amy Swearer, who reportedly told Roberts to his face that his handling of the controversy was, quote, a masterclass in cowardice that ran cover for the most unhinged dregs of the far right. But this also, as others at Heritage Heritage felt differently, with one person, for example, at the meeting reportedly asking what would happen to those who agreed with Roberts and Carlson, and another comparing staffers who spoke with reporters to Judas. Even Roberts' own speechwriter, Evan Myers, reportedly suggested that Heritage's attempts to address accusations of anti-Semitism would eventually mean he'd be required to attend Shabbat dinner, which he said would conflict with his faith. To which another executive reportedly shot back, "I'm deeply sorry that you cannot see that as a generous offer, but rather a personal attack on you." So clearly, there's a lot happening, and we're gonna have to see what happens with Roberts' leadership there. But also, amidst the fighting, we got to hear from Carlson himself, because he went on Dave Smith's show and explained that he initially had reservations about bringing Fuentes on.
For one, Nick had attacked my family, my father, my wife, one of my children by name. For another, as I've said a million times, I thought he was a Fed. I did suspect that. I don't know if that's true or not. I raised that with him. But basically, in the end, I decided Nick Fuentes can't be canceled. They've been trying since he was a freshman in college. It doesn't work. In fact, he's gotten bigger. He is enormously talented. Anyone who denies that is lying.
Enormously talented.
He's
a very talented
not fully coherent,
young Nazi.
but a semi-coherent kind of position. And I would like to hear what it is, because that's kind of my job. And I'm also interested because he's the most influential voice for men under 30 in the United States.
But then with all that, you have people like Ben Shapiro, the National Review, and the Wall Street Journal countering that Tucker's defense that he's just an innocent journalist doing his job and hearing people out, it doesn't hold up to scrutiny. With them arguing that he barely challenged Fuentes at all, he never brought up his worst comments and just let him say things like,
"We do, on some level, need to be pro-white,"
without any objection whatsoever. And that is, it's very clear that Tucker is more willing to grill the absolute fuck out of a guest if he wants to, like he did with Ted Cruz.
You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government. You're the one who claims about the country.
And so from that, you had the National Review concluding, why would Carlson choose to take an oppositional tack to a senator who has been fighting for conservatism for decades, but not to a podcaster who praises Stalin? The obvious answer is that Fuentes is an avowed Jew hater, while Cruz is a staunch supporter of Israel. Right? And then with everything that's happening, you did have Carlson kind of saying that it all appears to be about Israel and the future of the GOP.
This is a fight over what happens
after.
100%. Yep. What does the Republican Party look like? What happens after Trump goes?
A lot of money involved in that shit.
That's what they're investing the energy in this. That's what the rage is about, because they don't want to lose control of foreign policy. I just can't say that enough. It's about foreign policy. They don't care about domestic policy because they don't care about the United States.
Right, but also with that, you have people who argue that the Civil War, it's at least as much about anti-Semitism as it is about Israel. For example, Jamie Kirchick saying in the Washington Post, this episode has forced an overdue reckoning on the American right. For far too long, the problem of anti-Semitism has been allowed to fester there because too many conservatives have been reluctant to speak out against its chief propagator. Finally, its battle lines are being drawn. But ultimately, that's where we are for now, though we're going to see more, right? There appears to be no shortage of creators out there, and even politicians throwing haymakers. As while we wait to see what happens next, I'd really love to know your thoughts, opinions, and reactions here.
Alright, that's Dippy Doodle. And that's the lowdown on MAGA. It's not really MAGA. What else is going on here? Yeah, fucking Rapture is happening. Watch that.
Tickets are still available for my upcoming
Or
live
they do.
show. That's right. I have to keep doing these promotions until they're all gone. So,
They do.
do us both a favor. Ask your mommy if you can stay up past your bedtime on December 10th to watch me do stand-up comedy at the Regent Theater in downtown LA. And if she says yes, buy your ticket using the link in the description. If you're watching this video, that means that the Rapture did not happen on September 23rd.
Oh shit, I thought
October 7th. Or October 16th, or just sometime generally in October. The other option, of course, is that we both got left behind to suffer the great 7-year tribulation.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, oh man, he got left behind.
God's wrath upon the world through tyranny.
The president has plenary authority.
War, famine, and pestilence.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna go with the first option. A few weeks ago, you might have been getting a lot of videos on your For You page about the Rapture and thought to yourself,
no, but you know what I have been getting? I've been getting a lot of videos regarding the existence of God in heaven. either if there is a end, I get videos on like the proof of like the afterlife or God, the Bible. Well, I have been getting religious shit, like, but not about the rapture. What was the other one I got? And then the second videos I've been getting are like, you know, this is what universe will be like in 50 billion years, and the evolution of man, you know, like several unrecognizable features and shit, which was very much gives me eugenics vibes.
On now. Be careful. You might find out sooner than you think. Let's just say heck to be on the safe side. Back in June, a South African Christian by the name Joshua Melekela claimed to have received a vision that the rapture would happen on September 23rd
Is
or
that who
24th,
started this?
depending on what time zone you happen to be in.
God took me to see the future, and then he brought me back. In a throne room, I see Jesus
Oh,
sitting
this is
on
the
his
dude,
throne,
huh?
and I could
Okay.
hear him very loud and clear. I am coming soon. He says to me, on the 23rd and the 24th,
The Christians went along with it, like, yeah.
I will come to take my church.
There's a date.
There is a date.
Are there other people who have also said the same thing to confirm what you have said?
Okay, I admit podcasting would also be my first priority if I got a private MTV Cribs tour with Jesus. I mean, what's the point of prophecy if I can't use it to get on the Joe Rogan Experience? In response, some Christians on TikTok started publicly posting in support of this prediction, counting down until the date arrived. They were really worried that aliens were gonna take the credit for some reason.
The date is September 7th, 2025 at 6:38 p.m. I am making this video because the Holy Spirit has put it on my heart to leave evidence for those who will be left behind. The people who disappeared or appeared to be unalived in a great mass are not abducted by aliens.
They're gonna tell you that aliens took us, but they did not take us. Jesus took us, and we're with Jesus.
It was like an advent calendar, except instead of cheap chocolate, each day brought fresh waves of Christians sharing steps for pre-rapture prep and teary-eyed monologues begging non-believers to submit themselves to Christ before it was too late.
And I think it's really hitting me that we are going home. And I am so sad for those who are not going with us. I've been feeling this sadness mixed with this excitement once I started understanding the severity of the situation of how many people are going to be left behind.
Well, not all of them were teary-eyed. Some of them seemed pretty stoked that the rest of us were about to get barbecued. Hashtag Rapture Talk, as it became known, quickly inspired discourse and very irreverent jokes across the platform.
My neighbor thinks today's the rapture.
I definitely thought that I was going to be raptured by now, but the night is still young, and so I thought in the meantime, I would show you guys what's in my rapture bag.
Okay.
I just got that.
Me and Max are ready for the rapture. He's
I just got that shit.
He's gonna stay with me.
Even I jumped in on the trend. Look at this. Look at this. You see, it's funny because I know my audience. Y'all are some freak nasty bitches, and none of you will see the gates of heaven, not if I have anything to say about it. But I got a few comments under that TikTok asking what the rapture even was. Apparently, there are people out there who didn't lay awake at night in their bunk bed at the ripe age of 9, shaking the
rapture
fear at the
AI.
sound of every passing car or distant train horn, convinced it was the angel Gabriel blowing his trumpet to announce that God was about to rip the stratosphere asunder and cast them into the fiery pit of hell, while all of their loved ones stood by his side, robed in white, nodding approvingly. Which was a shocking revelation. Get it? Can you blame me? Even after an entire month of celebrating the most dastardly demons and grisly ghouls, it's hard to think of anything scarier then the rapture. It's the start of a horrific global catastrophe that's just the appetizer for eternal punishment from a perfect God who knows everything that's happening anywhere, all the time. Yes, even whatever you're thinking of, even that, you pervert. Fingers crossed you don't have any neuroses, kid. They're about to get a lot worse. Imagine being in 4th grade, hearing this at 9 a.m. on a Sunday morning, the flat shoes you're wearing already rubbing blisters into the back of your heels, believing that it's a 100% real thing that is going to happen. There was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth. Every mountain and island were moved out of their places, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb, for the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Anyway, we need a few more chaperones for this weekend's youth retreat. If you would like to volunteer, there is a sign-up sheet in the foyer. Let's close out our worship this morning with hymn 151, Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing. If your knowledge of Christianity is through pop culture or just via osmosis as an American, you might think that Jesus is a pretty chill guy. And he mostly is, until you get to Revelation. All kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending, saith the Lord. Alpha and Omega? Damn, I didn't know Jesus was a furry. Do you think his persona is the Lamb of God or the Lion of Judah? Catholics, how many years of purgatory did I just add? I don't know what I'm gonna do with all this canned food. I also have all these garbage bags because I figured if everyone's leaving their clothes behind, there's a neighborhood a couple streets over where I bet I could find a ton of Gucci. I'm spending the 7 years of tribulation dripped out. As September 23rd grew closer, some Christians started giving up earthly pleasures to show God and us how ready they were for their heavenly homes. Like this user who recorded herself breaking all of her electronics.
He probably has like a ton of money in the fucking
Did you see the curve on that pitch? The Blue Jays should have subbed her in this year. Did that land with the 30.4% of my audience that's male? Please tell me. I want to reach you. In a weird way, you kind of have to respect the consistency. She's putting her money where her faith is, which is more than a lot of religious people can say. Though, instead of breaking them, maybe she could have donated those screens to a sinner in need. What if they don't let me watch Family Guy clips in hell? Just kidding. That's the only thing they let you watch in hell. Posts started circulating about cheap goods and generous tips from rapture-ready Christians. One went so far as to sell his car.
I'm saying goodbye to my car. Oh, this is my baby, man. This has been my baby for years. But she's gonna go. I won't need her beyond September because I'm going home. I'm catching a flight.
I want to know what he did after.
I won't need the car.
Roar! Roar!
Where's he at now?
Peace of mind, I need to believe that this video is a joke, but this guy has been posting every day, multiple times a day, about the rapture since August. Wait, what the hell? This one's 45 minutes long. Is that allowed? No. Seriously, I'm only allowed to post up to 10 minutes on that app. What the f is up with that? Rapture Talk also became a place to share tips and tricks for fellow Christians and non-believers alike.
Rapture trip tip number 5. When you finally start moving up into the air, I recommend that you don't hold on to anything. Definitely don't recommend looking down.
Just let it happen.
Learn that lesson from Lot's wife.
Quick context pit stop. So Lot's wife was turned into a pillar of salt by God because she looked back towards Sodom and Gomorrah while he was destroying it. Similarly, a man named Uzzah dropped dead when he touched the Ark of the Covenant, Indiana Jones style. You see, God in the Old Testament has this fun little quirk where sometimes he just insta-kills somebody for a moment of doubt. Anyways, continue.
Just keep calm, take a deep
Yeah,
breath,
not a fucking asshole like that.
slowly release it, and keep your face looking upwards.
Okay, just keep looking
And
up.
pray you're not on the toilet.
It's like she's a Rapture flight attendant. I feel like she's gonna hand me a stale Biscoff cookie and tell me to put my tray table up. I love the idea that heaven's just somewhere up in the sky and you have to float up to reach it. You better hope that's not the case, because I'm gonna grab you by your shoelaces and hitch a ride. I don't know what the carry-on policy is, but we're both about to find out.
Rapture trip tips. I recommend you go out and buy a couple fresh packs of undies to wear for the next month. Throw all the old underwear away. Imagine after you've been harpazoed, your clothes float back down. You don't want someone's last impression of you to be your old underwear.
Speak for yourself. I'm doing it commando. There ain't nothing down there that ain't made in his image, am I right, sister?
Don't forget to unlock your phone. If you are a pre-tribber like myself and you truly believe that Jesus is going to come and rapture his church here possibly within the next week, if not any day now, don't forget to unlock your phone, because I know a lot of people are writing letters or maybe even just doing things on their phone, like in the notes and whatever.
Like the people that are going to be left alone, why do you
I have
care?
bills to pay. I still need that information.
I thought the rapture was happening. Why are you worried about bills? Why are you worried about bills?
Because in the rapture, you'll still have to pay
Created a
tax.
checklist to get her house ready for whoever would live there after she left.
So yesterday I posted a video asking what are we doing to prepare our homes as Christians for the people who are left behind. So like here's my little list. And then I went ahead and did these and I laminated them.
Laminated? That's how you know she's serious. She made sure those flashcards were rapture proof. This one says, do not take the mark in your hand/forehead. The government is lying. This is in reference to the mark of the beast, which we've talked about on this channel before. And he causeth all to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save that he have the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Comment down below. Where are you putting your mark of the beast? If they let us choose, I'm going with forehead.
And then I did scriptures that like elaborate a little bit about what Christianity is and how important it is. And then I did a letter to people, and I'm gonna leave it.
To encourage other believers in the face of heathen memes and mockery, some rapture heads, that's what I call them, started sharing proof that the September timeline was correct. The most common type I saw posted were rapture dreams, similar to the one Joshua Melakella had.
Now listen to me, I have just received a clear indication from God, y'all. I just received a clear indication from the Lord. I just had a dream, and I believe it was another rapture confirmation.
Because the only explanation for dreaming about something that you're thinking about all day, every day, is that it must be true, right? I get that one dream where all your teeth fall out at the same time, all the time. Should I schedule a dentist appointment? What about this other dream I get all the time? What about the dream where I'm in charge of a bunch of small animals and they all keep running away and dying, and it's all my fault? My dreams don't tell me anything interesting. They just tell me that I'm stressed. Oh, wow. Tell me something I don't know, dreams.
And I said, Lord, I'm still seeking you for confirmation one way or the other. I want to know from you personally whether we are going home in September 2025 or not. So if you've seen one of my past videos where I could feel God's presence in a rapture dream he gave me, we were in a field and Jesus was standing behind me. I couldn't see him, but I could hear him speaking. It had just started to mist and Jesus spoke and he said, "Are you ready to get wet?"
Yeah.
I'm too mature for this, dude.
Yeah.
Damn, Jesus. How about you buy me 5 milks and 2 fish first, Jesus? How about a glass of wine, Jesus? Leave room for yourself, Jesus. But it doesn't stop at dreams. Users reported all kinds of supernatural confirmations.
For the last few weeks, probably a month, I've sat in the hammock under the same tree I've sat under and prayed for so long. And I noticed even when it was a clear blue sky and it was sweltering hot out, I was feeling tiny drops of water landing on me. Also have been trying to catch this on camera. I can see it start to sprinkle
like the first
in
time
the
she's ever
sunlight,
been
but
out
I
in nature.
cannot catch it on camera.
Aw. Darn. Don't you hate it when your magic raining tree just doesn't show up on camera? I guess I'll just have to take your word for it. This next woman asked God to show her a black snake.
I believe Jesus is coming back, like, this month, which is a pretty wild thing to say. But, you know, I've gotten so many confirmations from God that he is coming back soon. And so, you know, the other night I put a date on it. I was like, okay, God, if you are coming back before my daughter's doctor's appointment at the end of this month, will you let me see a black snake or send me a black snake?
Why a black snake? Why not a brown snake? Why not something fun? Like, and not a black snake. I mean, it's God, after all. We can get a little creative.
The next day, my husband and his parents and I and my daughter are on our way to the pumpkin patch because, you know, it's fall, it's fun. You know, we're just talking in the car, and my husband all of a sudden out of nowhere goes, well, I saw my first snake of the year. It was a black snake. And so I was like, okay. You know, well, there I had it. There it was.
Why are you guys treating God like a magician at a kid's birthday party?
He did the trick. I know, that's what I'm saying.
Requesting tricks. Like he's paid by the hour. Okay, God, if you are really coming back, what card am I holding right now? Draw 4. What? No, it's the ace of spades. How the f did you do that?
When I heard about Joshua's vision, I took it seriously because it was the time frame I was already looking at. I prayed for confirmation and he gave me 3 things immediately. My husband wanted me to request off work for September 23rd. So I requested off and it was denied. I prayed and I asked God, whenever the rapture happens, whether it is next week, next month, next year, can you please just arrange things where I can be home with my family when it happens? About 4 hours later, I was fired.
All right.
I actually have to sit and process that for a second. Please,
yeah,
please tell me you did not mention the rapture on your PTO request? Because, that'll do it. God really said, oh, here, you want to be home? Bet. Diva, God is giving you a sign to log on to Indeed. Just don't put critical thinking under your list of skills, I guess. At the end of the day, though, or at the end of days, depending on your perspective, none of this affects me. If you want to sell your car, buy new underwear, or pretend that losing your job was super chill, no, really, that's your prerogative. But many of these people are parents, and according to them, unlike former President George W. Bush, Jesus has no problem leaving a child behind.
I am so honored to be your mommy. You have been such a gift, and I will see you in heaven.
Ooh, watching this made my skin crawl. Okay, I think we need a bluey cleanse. Somebody get Miss Rachel? Who has the contact information for Miss Rachel? No, not for the baby, for me. At least they're so young, they probably won't remember this. Unlike the girl whose mom dropped her off at school and then casually mentioned that she might get raptured before she got home.
What? I said if you don't see me, if something happens, we meet in the clouds. We're closer to the sea. We have an ocean. You try to get there.
You're right there.
Be nice, and I'll pick you up at 2:30 today.
I'll tell you, the internet has fucking ruined us on
Make
so
sure
many
to ask
levels.
Miss Angie for an extension on that assignment. And oh, by the way, God might take me today. I think we both know you'll still be here. I put 2 frozen pizzas in the freezer. Good luck. I'll see you on the other side. Maybe. Here is where we go from a difference of opinion or a really hard try not to laugh challenge into something that genuinely concerns me. The rapture paranoia of these Christian parents bleeds into the lives of their children and disconnects them from the real world. Why care about grades, college, family, or a future if the end credits are already rolling? Sometimes these children become directly involved in the signs mom and dad are desperately looking for. Don't believe the magic raining tree story? Don't worry. All her kids saw it too.
I talk about it to one of my kids, and my kid said, "It's happening to you too?" So it's not just me. All of my kids have witnessed it, have felt it, and have seen it.
Of course they did. You're the parent. You literally create their reality. The worst part about this is they're probably going to join an improv comedy troupe when they get older because of all the yes-anding they have to do with you.
He has proceeded to now be telling my 8-year-old Mackenzie 444, 444. I think he told her 14 once as well. She had come out to me, and the Lord had been giving her scripture to look up. and have me read. And she came in the kitchen, handed it to me, and she said, this is the song the Lord put on my heart. I'm gonna play a clip of it right now.
The song is called Rise and Shine, or the Arky Arky song. I've probably heard it 10,000 times. She's implying that her 8-year-old playing a very popular Christian kids song about Noah's Ark is a divine warning about Satan causing future floods and disasters. This isn't the only time she's interpreted her children's choice of music as a message from God.
So while she was cleaning her room, she said, Alexa, play songs from iCarly. She wanted to listen to the theme song and things like that. But Alexa said back to her, playing songs by people from iCarly. And this is the song. So obviously, we're freaking out.
How scary would it be to have such a volatile parent, to not know if something as innocuous as an iCarly song will suddenly trigger a breakdown? She also claims that her children, as young as 4 years old, started speaking Hebrew words told to them by God.
I posted a video yesterday of 3 minor Feast of Trumpets rapture confirmations. And the first one I talked about was with my 9-year-old daughter and how the Lord spoke something to her in a different language, and it turned out to be Rosh Chodesh, which means new moon. Feast of Trumpets is the only feast that is centered around the new moon. As I was getting my 3-year-old ready for nap, he started saying something over and over again. Say it again. What? Rosh Chodesh?
Yes.
Are you as baffled as I am? We're going home. We're about to see Jesus face to face.
There are countless posts on the internet just like this, stretching back years of people filming their kids who have had visions of the end times.
I saw flaming horses coming down from heaven. Like Jesus was riding on one, all the angels were picking all the good people coming, go back up.
This is McKinley. She's my daughter. She is going to be 9 on the 31st of August. She came to me today and told me that she had a rapture dream last night.
He was holding you in Dad's hand.
He was?
Yeah.
That's a full rapture.
To save us from what?
From the devil.
From the devil?
Yeah.
I struggle to define this as anything other than emotional abuse. A lot of kids who have gone through this are old enough to post now, and they could not be more over it.
So I think the time has come for me to make an actual video of the rapture letter that my mother left for me. If you are reading this, then what biblical prophecy has said has come true. We are gone. I pray that you have
I feel
gone
left
with me
out. I
and we
didn't
will
get a
meet in
rapture
heaven.
letter.
If this isn't the case, then I pray that you will listen with an open heart what I'm about to say. The world is going to be a terrible place. It'll just be days before complete chaos reigns.
The idea of your own mother believing that a just God could damn you to everlasting torment and that you would deserve it is so troubling. These are experiences that follow you into adulthood, even if you try to leave it all behind.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I am nervous about the rapture. Like, my entire childhood is just rapture trauma. It's the reason I can't plan ahead. It's the reason I can't save money. The rapture could come. And I knew from the moment I was born that I was not gonna be among the elect. I was not gonna get raptured because I was too far gone. When I was 5 years old, when I was a kid, I had all kinds of magical thinking where I would, like, if the breeze was blowing the curtain, I remember this so vividly, if the breeze was blowing the curtain a little, I would say to myself, if in the next 5 seconds the curtain moves again, that means I won't go to hell. And, like, I would just do that all the time. Car horns used to scare me sometimes even. Sun rays, you know, when you can actually see the ray coming down, that scared me. I'm still a little bit scared of trumpets.
Granny had a sticker on her dashboard. Warning, driver of this car may disappear at any moment. I got yelled at because I didn't want to get in the car with her. I was 4. I remember calling random people in my church to see if the rapture happened because my family was late coming home. It runs deep. Same here. I was always afraid. I wanted to leave so badly, but I knew I'd go to hell if I did it myself. Spent most of my youth begging him to let me not wake up. I was too evil and dirty to live or be raptured. This started before I can remember. I really resonate with that video and the comments underneath it, even now, there is a small voice in my head telling me that I am damning my immortal soul with every word I say. Now, some Christians might hear that and get real excited because they think that that means the Holy Spirit is still working on my wicked heart. But as far as I'm concerned, it's only evidence of the lasting damage that these beliefs cause. I had rapture dreams frequently from a very young age. One night, I climbed all the way down from my bunk bed, kneeled on my bedroom floor, and screamed and begged Jesus not to send me to hell while fully asleep. I was raised to fear the rapture. But I was also taught this verse. Matthew chapter 24, verse 36.
Oh, so she knows
"But of that
all
day
about
and
that shit.
hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only." Now, I should be able to end the video right there. Seriously, I don't know how Jesus could have possibly dumbed it down more than that. But there are Christians who seem less interested in what Jesus had to say and more interested in books like this. Left Behind was first published in 1995, quickly spawning an entire series and a film adaptation starring Nicolas Cage. It's where we get the imagery of empty piles of clothes, planes falling out of the sky, and a world that descends into chaos the moment all the good Christians vanish into thin air. This book is responsible for popularizing something called dispensationalism. Dispensationalism is a theological framework that states that history is divided into 7 or possibly less dispensations. Hey, wake up, this is important. Dispensations or ages in which God interacts with his chosen people in different ways. These ages generally span from Adam and Steve to the cross, and then from the cross to the rapture and great tribulation, and then after that, a 1,000-year reign of Jesus H. Christ on earth. It requires a very, very literal interpretation of scripture, which I think not only is insulting to the complexity of the text, but also encourages Christians to act in very unbiblical ways. If Old Testament prophecies have such accessible interpretations, and the book of Revelation is an exact chronological roadmap of current/future events, what should be a great mystery that even angels aren't privy to becomes a National Treasure-esque scavenger hunt, also starring Nicolas Cage, where smart, observant, righteous Christians are the protagonists. While there have always been people convinced that Jesus will come back during their lifetime, starting with contemporaries of the crucifixion, dispensationalism has been a relatively fringe view. It's mostly experienced localized revivals across the 19th and 20th centuries through preachers like John Nelson Darby and C.I. Scofield. Left Behind brought dispensationalism and its views about the rapture into the homes of millions of evangelicals. Over 9 million sold, to be exact. Now, something you might have noticed about the Rapture Talk videos hitting your feed is that they seem to randomly bring up Israel every once in a while.
Sanhedrin announces ruling. All Jews worldwide must come home to Israel.
We are almost home, y'all. That is what you should be paying attention to.
We are
Israel, y'all. That peace plan is the key. That is our get-go. That is what lets us know we are going home.
In Left Behind, the book opens with a journalist flying out of a recently attacked Israel. And a major part of the story involves the Antichrist's plan to build the third temple in Jerusalem. Third time's the charm, because the first was destroyed by the Babylonians, and the second by the Romans. If you glance through the Wikipedia page on dispensationalism, you might notice a little blue hyperlink labeled Christian Zionism. While anyone even casually interested in geopolitics might have a good guess as to why certain political entities are vested in the state of Israel, condos to build, oil to drill, etc., you might wonder what stake the average Christian housewife has.
Growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed.
Those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of it, says the nation of Israel.
Where is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my... You pull out the phone and use...
It's in Genesis. So you're quoting a Bible phrase. You don't have context for it, and you don't know where in the
Yeah,
Bible
this
it
is
is.
a
But
long
that's
one
like
for
for
her.
theology. I'm confused.
That was Ted Cruz. Down here in Texas, he not only acts as our state senator, but also our thermometer. When Ted's in Cancun, bad weather soon. It takes a real grade A dork to make Tucker, sexy green M&M Carlson look like the Chad of a debate.
The green M&M, you will notice, is no longer wearing sexy boots.
But there is more going on here than a Bible-mandated loyalty to an Israel that Teddy here struggles to define. Dispensationalists believe that God has a unique plan specifically for the Jewish people. According to them, a mass return of Jewish people to the Holy Land and Jewish sovereignty over the entire geopolitical region known as the Levant are prerequisites to the second coming of Christ. Their response to Zionism is hurry up. And if it requires Muslim casualties, that's just the cherry on top. But dispensationalists shake hands with Zionism with the fingers of their other hand crossed behind their backs. They believe the Jewish people will be tricked and follow the literal Antichrist as their Messiah. They believe that every single Jewish person who doesn't eventually bend the knee to Christ will end up in hell. Meanwhile, Jewish Zionists are happy to take the help in this life because they have a very different idea of what's going to happen in the next. Both sides think that they're pulling one over on the other. This is all just
It's as I said, it's
and there
the
is
up,
constant
down
infighting
code
over
for
the
the rapture.
details. Dispensationalism is like a gateway drug to an obsession with numerology, symbology, and even large-scale conspiracy. Those most vulnerable to spiritual psychosis become trapped in an endless cycle of translating every news headline and even the mundane events of their own lives into the fulfillment of ancient prophecy. But the Bible is pretty clear that all of this is a complete waste of time, and I should know. I was in that thing, back to front to back, like a thong up your crack for most of my life. Bless y'all's hearts, y'all's theology comes from a thriller novel written in the 90s. Y'all are making Mormonism look almost pre-modern. If you're like me, then this isn't your first rapture. You could have probably predicted what happened next without help from a higher power. September 23rd came and went.
I think it's like my fourth or fifth rapture.
Much later. I don't know. Let me say. Do you want to? I don't know. Do you feel like taking a break?
Ugh, awkward. While some Christians deleted their videos or privated their accounts out of embarrassment, others held out as Joshua scrambled to explain his miscalculation.
When you cross over straight from this Feast of Trumpets to our Gregorian calendar, it will put you on the 7th and the 8th of October.
Oh, it's the calendar that's wrong, not you. Of course. After the second prediction failed, Joshua pushed the date back yet again to the 16th of October. Through all of this, Rapture Talk continued to post.
I love you all. The day came to pass, honestly. I'm coming out and making this video. Brother Joshua's not a false prophet. He's a prophet from God. The rapture's tomorrow, October 23rd.
They grasped at every possible reason the rapture could happen before the end of the month.
What's going on, everybody? And as you see, it came to pass. The rapture did not happen. You know, I'm a man of my word, and
What
you
did
know, I come
happen?
on here,
And
you know, I
they didn't choose
apologize.
them.
This was all supposed to happen. The rise of mockers and scoffers, the talks about splitting the land of Israel, all in this time frame is supposed to happen. I can already hear people mocking at me. I can already hear people saying, oh, he's moving the goalpost.
That's why it took so long to make this video. I had to wait out the rest of October on the off chance that it actually happened. No other reason, but it's November, and we're still here. Rapture Talk continues to lash out at the mockers and scoffers. Somehow, after everything, they just can't stay off the internet, and they just can't admit that they were wrong.
I said I didn't know if I would ever be back, that would be up to the Lord. To my surprise, a few days ago, he started putting it on my heart to come back, and this morning he spoke to me and said, today.
The rapture did not happen as we thought it would. I will come out and I will say boldly that I still believe that the Lord told Joshua those dates. I still believe that Feast of Trumpets has to be fulfilled. Can I explain why? No.
hi. I know I said I'd stay off social media, but I changed my mind, and if you have a problem with that, big deal. People change their minds all the time.
Now, October 6th, 7 and 8 went by, so I was wrong on that one. But am I wrong about September 23rd to the 24th, or 9/23, 9/24? I'm not wrong.
Now, y'all probably expect me to come on here and apologize because it didn't happen on the 13th and 14th. That's exactly what I'm not gonna do. I'm gonna do the complete opposite, actually.
There's a
Go ahead,
dilemma
do
that I
that.
struggle with every video. Should I
Mhm.
credit the clips I'm critiquing and
Finding
be accused of
and
harassment,
post-
even if I use just a few seconds to prove that what I'm talking about is real? Do I
No.
not credit the clips and get accused of
Oops.
stealing? These aren't hypotheticals, both have happened. In this video, I'm not sharing the usernames of these people. If they're gonna change their entire belief system, it's going to be through someone they trust
I
or
agree.
a major event in
I
their
agree
life.
with her. Yeah,
Certainly
I
not
like
my
that you're
jokes, and
doing that.
certainly
That's a
not
good
comments
idea.
from my heathen audience. Love you guys though. I truly hope
Like,
this
give them the
recent
option and
disappointment
freedom
is
to,
a
like,
wake-up
actually
call for
choose.
them. But unfortunately, I don't think so. If you personally know someone like this, please reach out to them. You might be the only anchor to reality that family has. If not for their sake, at least do it for their kids. In 1844, thousands of Christians stood on hillsides because a man named William Miller told them that the rapture was happening. Y2K caused a mass panic because many spiritual leaders told their congregations that the rapture was happening. In 2025, the hashtag Rapture Talk started trending because a man named Joshua Melakella got on a podcast and told us that the rapture was happening. This cycle repeats every few years, and it will happen again. Until the next one, though, could we maybe just focus a little bit on the living, breathing humans who are actively dooming us instead of supernatural forces? The modern church is full of Christians that are too heavenly minded to be much earthly good, and I encourage them to help us make this world a better place and let Jesus worry about the rest. If you're like me and suffer occasionally from end times anxiety, something that I like to think about is all those before me who felt the exact same way. I think about all the large and small tragedies that seemed to be harbingers of Armageddon, but weren't. Life persisted. It's morbid, but it works. Who could see the aftermath of the atomic bomb, its victims wandering in burning rubble half alive, and not think they were witnessing the mouth of hell? What else could the people of Pompeii believe when Mount Vesuvius rained ash upon them, but that this was the work of an angry god? The last dinosaur, turning its eyes upward to make a wish on a sky full of fiery stars, burning bigger and brighter with every passing second, could not fathom the war crimes that would be committed to collect oil from its ancient corpse. Yep, I ruined it.
Oh, she got chosen. That was a wonderful, that was a long one. That was almost like 40 minutes. Like the wow, I did not fucking type. Yeah. If it's true. It's more than that. Let's turn that off. Yes. Oh gosh. I don't know. Alright, there's that. Hold on. Oh, that's still streaming. Alright, bye-bye.